Sold as is. One not working X-Files pinball machine. May 15, 2017. There's the answer I've been looking for. I want you to learn from my mistakes, because my strategy for sliding the pinball machine across the floor did not go very well. Oopsies. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Alright, I think it is time for a new project. It's been a little bit since I finished Galaxy. I still want to do a gameplay video on this. This was my last series that I did. But I kind of want to just cut right to the action for now. And that is going to be in and around these machines here. Got a little bit of a nook, and there lies the next project. I think it is finally time to bust out my X-Files. I picked this up many years ago, and man, it could be like 5 years ago by now. When I first got it, I didn't really have room in my basement for it, so I put it at Jay the neighbor's in his living room. And I had to do a couple tweaks to it to get it functional. And it hung out there for a little bit, and we played it a couple times. But there was some issues. I think like the opto in front of the filing cabinet wasn't registering. But I think that is why the filing cabinet itself is in good shape. So that is a bonus. But yeah, had this for 5 or 6 years, hung out in Jay's living room for, I don't know, a year or something maybe. But then they did a renovation on their entire house, so it came back down into the basement, and it's been here ever since. So I have never had it set up in my basement. So that is the next project in the queue. Sega X-Files. I'm excited to bust this guy out again. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of shuffling. I'm going to have to get big game out of the way. And then because I've got nothing in this aisle right here, I have access. So I'm going to make use of it. And then going to bring it all the way around here. And I think my back room is a disaster right now. Don't look at my dirty soccer gear. Yeah, so this is where I'm going to kind of put it right here to shop it up like I did with my whitewater. And then when it is ready, it won't fit in this spot. Oh, by the way, Electra's gone. I sold that. It's actually currently in my living room upstairs, folded up. So that's going to a new home. It's actually going to the guy that owns the only arcade in London, Tilt Arcade. I did a tour of that place and a video a while back when they first opened, and that's Evan Oswald. So he purchased it, the Electra, for his collection. I'm not sure where it's going to end up. He's got like 3 arcades, one that he's building in Toronto right now that should be opening in about a month, he said. So I've got a space there, but I think kind of going to use that for like a little side table, I think, for when I strip down X-Files. I think I'm going to have a couple shenaniganders over on Saturday. Nothing crazy, but the goal is to try and get X-Files set up and at least functional so we can bang on it and try and troubleshoot it and just play it. And, you know, that is the goal. So, first things first, I've got to clear a path, and I've got lots of stuff in the way. I've got my rotisserie. I've got this Prospector playfield. I think I won't mess with that right now. I'm going to knock something over. I've got side rails for big game. I've got mirror blades for some Williams game, wherever that will go. I've got my Gorgar step stool. And yeah, I got to move this cart out of the way. So first things first, clear a path and get X-Files into the back room. So new project day. It's exciting. Let's get started. All right, let's clear a path. Okay, sorry, my flash is picking up all kinds of dust that I stirred up, but it's just a shenanigander thing. It happens in every friggin' video. If I go to normal zoom like that, it doesn't pick it up so much. If I go to zoom out, which is where you can see all the action, you also see all the floaties. And no, they're not ghosts. I've had many comments about what types of spirits and ghosts are flying around in the background. It's dust. So I am going to actually try a trick and see if it works for moving my machine without using the cart. I'm going to see if it works. I'll show you the trick in one moment. I just got to grab my mop. Okay, step one, mop the floor. Step two, move machine. Okay, step three, screw the mopping idea and go with the cart. Okay, yeah, so that patch of floor there is a little bit more rugged, and usually I have had good success sliding the machine across the floor with very relative ease, but that just doesn't seem to be happening right now, so I am going to see if I can get this on the cart. I don't weigh a whole lot. The machine weighs more than me, so sometimes I have trouble. But this cart is taller, so I have more leverage, so it should be good. I should strap this. Whoa. See, that's what I mean. I need a strap. Okay, I got my strap on, and I think I got a clear path to the back. I probably should do a 360 at some point and swing the machine around, or I could just plop it in place and spin it once I get there. But let's see if I can get this bad boy up this time. Alright, so that worked out okay. Now it is in position. I think I'm going to put it on my cart, my pump cart, lower it down, raise the head, pump up the machine high enough so I can put on the legs, and then I don't need really any assistance. I don't like deadlifting the machine. You know, once you put on the front legs and lean the machine forward, then you kind of got to deadlift the back up to put it on a stool. I will break myself if I try that, and my back does not like that to begin with. So but yeah, so it's in place. Just gotta, let's zoom in, get rid of the floaties. But this is what I'm up against here in terms of condition of the cabinet. You can see this is the original color, or close to it, and this is the existing color. So some serious fade going on. Also, when I went to pick this up, this was listed on local for sale site. I think it was Kijiji. It's like Craigslist for Canada. And it was posted for like kind of an expensive price. I think 4,500 bucks at the time. Like I said, this is probably 5 or 6 or even 7 years ago. I don't know. I'd have to check for sure. Like when Jay did his renovations, how many years ago that was. And then go back a year from there or so. But let's just say 5 years ago. was listed on Kijiji for 4,500 bucks, and they weren't really getting a lot of action. I think I called them, didn't come to terms. Someone else was trying to negotiate for the machine, and we were talking back and forth, and I can't remember what happened, but I gave him a call, and we didn't discuss a figure at all. I just said, listen, I'm interested in the machine. I think your price is high for what it is. And I went, and I think it was like hour and a half, 2 hour drive, which isn't too bad, but without discussing a price at all. So it was a bit of a gamble. It was because I didn't want to pay 4,500 bucks. So I get there, and it was in like a garage that was turned into a man cave. It had all the other, fun stuff in there. It was the only pinball machine, but it was a severely smoked out man cave. Like, it smelled very, very bad of tobacco. And I don't know if this yellowing has anything to do with that or not, but fortuitously, we ended up agreeing on a price that was much more reasonable at the time. So I loaded it up, and like I said, I brought it over to Jay's, stuck it in his living room, and shortly thereafter, this machine stunk up his entire house with tobacco smell. He put like some charcoal in the coin door, like a bowl of charcoal or something to try and help absorb the stank. But yeah, this is a super nicotine-y, stanky machine. I think it's aired out over the years. I don't really smell it right now, but maybe once I start cleaning it, I will. But yeah, oh, look at this. Translate's popping right out here. Let's see if I can pop that back in. So yeah, this is the, I'll have to talk about some X-Files details at some point, but this is what they call the showcase model of Sega machines, because it has that bowed out back box, which I don't particularly love, because then you got to have these extra legs here that fold up and tuck into these, and they fold down so that the back glass isn't smushing into the playfield glass. It's not my favorite design. It's just a little bit wonky, but it is fun that they tried something different. The whole, bowed back box thing. Anyway, so I'm going to wipe this down because it is very dusty, and then we'll put it on legs. All right, phase one is complete. I got the machine on my pump cart. I'm wearing a mask right now just because I know I'm stirring up lots of dust, and I don't want to get the sneezies. I'm a little allergic to everything, dust and Mother Nature. So I might sound a little bit muffled. Anyway, I did wipe down the front, got rid of most of the dust. Just a quickie, and now it's time to lift the back box and get a peek here. Kind of get a little sneak peek at the action. Looks like my slingshot plastics are not broken. That's pretty cool. My buddy Greg Benz has an X-Files, and we used to play it back in London, Ontario Pinball League when that existed in the before times. And actually, I don't think we played his because his was so nice, and he didn't want his new filing cabinet to get destroyed. But I just remember the LEDs on his just look so cool, and he did some extra lighting mods, and he added a couple of cool mods. And this is like maybe 5 years ago. So I went on eBay and I found a couple of the same mods that he had. I haven't looked in this box for a little bit, but I've had this. Oh, I'm going to, I was going to say I could check the box to see what the date is, but I don't know that that is actually the box that these came in. But look what I got here. I've got this dude. How cool is that? I'll have to ask Greg where he put this on his machine and then try and emulate that. I've got this dude. These are huge characters, it's like 5 inches tall, but somehow I certain he has that in his machine. And I've got a Mulder and a Scully and all kinds of accessories that go with these guys. I don't even know what I've got. I got a cool keychain, plastic, sweet, and what else? Oh, I think that's a plastic to go in front of the filing cabinet, possibly. Maybe like a jump airball protector. So, cool. These guys are pretty neat. I wonder if I can squeeze all of them in. I'm pretty sure I can fit these two guys. I don't know if Greg has those two characters in his machine or not, but I will be consulting with him. That's going to be obviously a little ways down the line, so that's basically when the machine's done. That'll be a while from now. So I think I'll lift up the back box, get that secured, and then be right back. A quick side note, I just found out that today is Henry Mastinardi's birthday. Happy birthday, brother. He was a London, Ontario Pinball League member and fellow shenanigander. He moved out of town, but I did a tour of his collection, and he was working on an X-Files while watching Pinball Shenanigans. So, shout out to your brother. And Henry also, once upon a time, was making custom instruction cards. And one day, he just gave me a whole pile of instruction cards. It might have been part of a trade of something, I forget. Or maybe he just completely gifted them to me. But this is mostly all of Henry's work. Like, this is awesome stuff. He knew what machines I had in storage. Oh, those are cool. And he basically got me one of everything I had. Johnny. And I was just wondering if there might be X-Files in here. I don't know if I had an X-Files at the time. I think I did. But, okay, not in that pile. But I did see over here, look what I got. I do have my custom apron cards. So that is pretty cool. I got some more stuff in here. I'm not really sure what. We'll go through that. But, yep. Shout out to Henry. Happy birthday, brother. Okay, so I'm just vacuuming up the back area here because it was filled with cobwebs. And I want you to learn from my mistakes, because my strategy for sliding the pinball machine across the floor did not go very well. Oopsies. Yeah, so that happened because this is pretty worn. This is pretty worn, this is pretty worn, and this one is missing altogether, or I may have worn it right off. So, yeah, that is something you do not want to do unless you know for sure all of your nylon feet are well intact and not worn out. So, that's a little bit sad, but fortunately, it's at the very back of the machine, and you're not going to see it. And this is no beauty pageant to begin with, so you know, I'm gonna just have to live with it. I'm not going to redo the entire cabinet. That is more of a Kevin Graisley thing. I here at Pinball Shenanigans like to stick to my low-end restoration, so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, learn from my mistakes. Don't do that unless you know for sure about your nylon feet. I do notice that I find this to be the case on these showcase heads a lot, is that the locks don't always stay locked when you're transporting. So when I lift this up, I got to be careful that the door doesn't swing out and guts don't come flying out at me. But I think I am ready. I just got to grab my ratchet or Allen wrench so that I can lock this head in place. Then we can take a quick peek at the playfield. Alright, before we take a look at the playfield, let's just take a look at the quick stats here. X-Files made by Sega, which was later Stern. And prior to that was Data East. It is made in 1997, and because it's a Stern, they don't tell you how many they made. So I'm not really sure the numbers on that. I think there are other ways to find out. Like I have a pinball price guide from 2016. Sometimes the numbers are in there. I'm going to go get that actually. I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. It's 2017 Mr. Pinball price guide. This was kind of the go-to, way to figure out prices, as well as Pinside. But nowadays you got pinballprices.com, so go there, support that page. It's awesome. It's very up-to-date information. The guy there, I think, is Doc Finley, is his name, possibly. He tracks like every sale everywhere, so it's pretty good stuff. But the very last page, I haven't looked yet. Let's see what we can find out about X-Files here. X-Files, S-P-I, which, is that Sega or is that Stern? They made it from 1997 to 2009? Is that what that means? Oh yeah, 6 players that can play this game, and production is estimated to be about 1,500. Well, it says 1,500, so not a lot, and I trust that number. And the value at the time is around $2,000 US, so that's what we got. Okay. So there, now we know. About 1,500 of them made. So it is a White Star board set, which is usually pretty solid and reliable. And I was looking in my little coin box there for Allen wrench, which wasn't in there, and I did see some ROM, so I'm not really sure what or why. But, oh, maybe because I was having display issues. Anyway, we'll check that out after. But design is by Rob Hurtado, which I'm not really familiar with. Brian Schmidt for music, not familiar with. Lonnie Ropp and Oren Day for programmers. I am familiar with them. But, yeah, so I'm not going to read all that. What is the latest ROM set, I wonder? But we'll take a quick peek at the flyer here, just to see what they're saying about it. Premium 4-color art package, setting an industry standard as the only full 4-color package available. Okay. High quality prop replicas. What does that say? Erlenmeyer flask. Allen, or Alien Baby. Man, I need to probably put on some glasses. The Host Fluke Man Mulder's filing cabinet, taking pinball into the next century. All right, let's go see if we can find all these features. So we got an Alien Baby and a filing cabinet. That's basically the high quality prop replicas, and I know where they are, come to think of it, but there's more props than just that too. Okay, this glass is definitely very dusty and pretty scratchy too, so this is gonna want a new playfield glass. But all in all, here, this is where the ball drops from the ramp. A little bit of wear there, it's not horrible. Oops. And this side, I really should do this with the glass off. We'll get a closer look, but we got this molded plastic here, which is pretty cool. We got the filing cabinet, which are usually beat to hell, and mine looks to be in really good shape, all things considered. And then there's our little Alien Baby dude. So there's Scully and Mulder's little FBI cards in the back. I didn't notice that before. But yeah, here, Sega Showcase. Oh yeah, and sure enough, the guts did want to come out on me. This opened up on its own. Let's see what we got. Okay. What we got is, we're missing the display board. That's because when I put in a Pin 2 DMD in my South Park, I made a boo-boo and I blew up the display controller board. So I borrowed it from X-Files. And then I sent out the South Park one to my board repair guy, and he fixed it. So that is currently in the coin box. So I need to reassemble that, and there's so many spacers and whatnot, it might be a bit of a challenge to figure out how that goes again, but we'll figure it out. And that's going to be kind of the first thing I need to do to this machine to try and get it powered on. And here we go. So it looks like I did change the game ROM, so that's cool. That would have come from Davis still at pinballrom.com. So he probably gave me the latest and greatest. And I believe I probably got the updated display code as well. What is that? Sound. I guess I didn't get updated sound. Maybe it wasn't required. And batteries. Where are the batteries? Oh, up here. Okay. I believe this is the NVRAM. Looks like I just got some cheapo NVRAM, but I believe that is that. So I've got that covered. Looks like I need to tighten some screws. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I think I will get this thing on legs and get it stable, and then we'll work on that display controller, which is right here. Shopped by Brent, February of 2022, 100%. And then, oh, I'm going to have to add that back into the equation. Here's the old ROMs. Oh, interesting. Looks like the seller wanted to make a contract with me. Sold as is. One not working X-Files pinball machine. May 15, 2017. There's the answer I've been looking for. So we're like 6 years ago. Okay. And then there's the seller. There's my signature. Huh. What do you know? They knew it was a piece of crap when they sold it to me, and wanted to make sure I couldn't go back on them and say, you sold me a piece of crap. I want my money back. So with this piece of paper, I wasn't going to be able to get my money back, right? As good as a contract gets right there. Okay, so far I just tightened all the screws on the CPU. They were all loose. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe I had this board out at some point. It's very possible. What else did I notice? There was a new transistor here. I don't remember if I did that or not. And I want to remove this whole display so I can piece it all together. And I realized I've never removed a showcase display before. And it kind of is like floating on these brackets here. So looks like I need to just remove that screw and that screw. And I should be home free. Disconnect this guy. Also notice this connector is not in great shape, so I can see myself remedying that. I remember that the machine would sometimes boot up and sometimes not boot up, but I can't recall if that was just the display being the issue or the CPU. So, you know, 7 years later or 6 years later, I've learned a lot since then, so I should be able to have a better grasp of what's going on once I can piece this back together and turn it on and see what's going on. Also, because of the height back here, I don't think I'm going to be able to stick this guy on legs just yet if I want to be working in the back box at all. But maybe if I can kind of tidy up everything back here. Did I mention I want to check all the fuses? I got to remember to do that. Just make sure they are all the right amperage and make sure there's nothing over amped. But if I can button up everything back here, then I can close the back box and then stick it on legs at least for the weekend. Then if I need to get back in, I'm going to actually have to take it back off the legs because I wouldn't be able to open this once it's raised up to its full height, because that's all I got right there. That ain't enough for a leg. I need like another foot or more. Yeah, so that ain't gonna happen today. So I'm gonna remove these guys and throw this display on the bench and see if I can put it all back together again. Alright, I got the display out. And I do remember messing with the display at Jay's place, and I might have even replaced the display. And I kind of feel like there might be some screws or spacers missing. I think someone prior to me was messing with this and might have lost some hardware. I should check in the cabinet actually. But I did have a little baggie with some hardware. And there's the new display ROM. So I've got all the parts for the most part. But oh yeah, the other thing I noticed is this is like the longest ribbon cable in pinball history. Look at this thing. That's so you can like open the back box door all the way and still not yoink the cable out. But it is in very rough shape. I would be very surprised if this cable actually works, and I do not have one of these in stock. So this could be a deal breaker potentially for getting this thing up and running. Although it did work before, so I don't know if it incurred any more kinks since I've stored it. I hope that I didn't cause that to happen, but who knows. See, that looks old because it's so clean in there that the nicotine didn't get to it. So that looks like that was like that from when I got it. Anyway, that's definitely a little suspect. I'm going to mess around with this and see if I can get it back together. Alright, I think I managed to piece this together. I had to use a couple plastic spacers. I think I'm missing 1, 2, 3 metal spacers in total. But plastic spacer there with a long screw. Plastic spacer there with a long screw. That seems to work. And then on this side, that's the original layout. And on this side, I am, missing a spacer. I'm just going to have to go without, because I need a metal one there for the screw to thread into, and I don't have another one. Well, I got this one just a little bit long. I could, you know, maybe grind it down or something, but as long as this is stable and nothing's going to short. I did have this paper spacer on the other way around, which is like all kind of metallic-y and metal-y, and I thought that might be a bad thing, so pretty sure this is the correct way this paper goes, so that all the components aren't shorting to themselves. So I think that is good. This would have been the extra screw here. So I just need a 1/2 inch threaded spacer and I can make it perfect, but we're going to just live with that for now. Pretty sure I've got my ribbon cable on right. Pin 1, it says right there, red stripe. This was plugged in like that. I can't really see. What does that say? Does that say pin 1 anywhere? Might be on the other side of the board, like the other side of the connector here. So worst comes to worst, I'll just reverse it if needed, but I think it's time to install this guy. Okay, I've got the display in place. I got it all connected. I think I got my ribbon cables on correct. Power connected. This guy up here. There is one little strap here. I'm not sure exactly where that's supposed to go. Maybe on that screw. I'll deal with that later. But I think I'm ready to turn this thing on and see what happens. So Here's hoping there is no frying of any components or fires of any sort or magic smoke. So, shall we? Okay, X-Files, it's been a while. Please be good to me. Ooh. That is a good sign. Wow. 22 credits, so my NVRAM is working. This sketchy 10-foot ribbon cable appears to be working. My back box light. We've got attract mode. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Alright, well, I'm kind of a little bit shocked that it actually worked. I was expecting to have to fight with this for a little bit. Jay, that's not Jay the neighbor's score, because it's a factory score. Hey, wait. What's happening? What is happening? This is... Ah, it reset. Okay. Interesting. Why did it reset? Okay, so there is an issue. Is that... Okay. So, yeah, I think that's going to be our 5-volt connector or connectors somewhere on the CPU board or driver board. I think we just have to like redo a connector or two and probably can fix that. But yeah, okay. That is next on the list. I just got to do a little research here and figure out what connectors are the main power. I mean, I would think that red and black might be a candidate. I see lots of 5-volt. Let's see here. The board's labeled very well. See lots of plus 5-volt going on there, lots of ground. Maybe this guy. Anyway, I'm gonna not speculate. I'm gonna do a little bit of research on white star resetting. This is my board revision, and I feel like I should be able to find a solution with relative ease. Oh, that's not wood. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, I went to PinWiki, I did some reading, and they do cover game resets pretty good on this white star system. I wonder if I can turn the volume down here. There we go. Okay. So, apparently, the best spot to measure the 5 volts... See, there's our 5-volt LED right there. It is on. And the resistor, right below it, R14, is our best spot to measure the 5 volts. The bottom leg of R14. What does it say? 5.05. That's a nice strong voltage. It's not really supposed to reset until it drops to about 4.75 volts. And it says that like it tends to run on 4.85 volts comfortably. So the fact that I'm at 505, which is a good voltage, kind of surprises me as to why I'll be getting resets at that voltage. I'm just kind of waiting to see if it resets again on me. And there's even a potentiometer here, right? This guy here, that will allow you to turn up the voltage potentially. I'm not sure if I've done that in the past. I don't know what I've done because it's been so long ago. But I do remember a reset issue in the past. It doesn't seem to be happening right now, so... Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to do some more figuring out here. But voltage is actually very good. Like literally after I said the voltage is very good, it started resetting on me. It's doing it like 3-4 times now. Let's see if that LED goes out. Let's try and get this, I think it's resetting. Nope. It literally reset 3 times. Like I literally hit stop on my record and it reset 3 times within 15 seconds. Okay, this is what I did last time. I walked away and then it started resetting. Hey! Is it going to do it again? The LED, we'll keep an eye on that, see if that turns off. Okay, it's toying with me right now, so I'm going to try and catch this in the act with the multimeter. Well, the LED is not turning off, so maybe it's just so quick it doesn't have time. Because, you know what, even if I power the machine off, I believe, no, LED turned right off, but sometimes they stay on for a second. See that guy there? So I guess that's not the case. Anyway, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole for a bit and see what I can find. Okay, so I've learned that if the voltage is within spec on the I/O power driver board, to check the voltage on the CPU/soundboard, and that test point is located right next to this CPU chip right here. Now let's see if there is a difference. Look how close to 4.85 that is. That is on the verge right there. Okay. So then it says if that is the case, if the voltage drastically differs between the measurement of the driver board and the CPU, turn the game off, remove and reseat connections CN2 on the CPU soundboard and J16 on the power driver board. Okay. Alright, well, let's find those. Might as well do this live. Why not? CN2 on the CPU. Alright. Where is that going to be? Is this... You know what? I'm going to need to throw on the old Googles and see what I can see. That's CN4, CN5, CN6. So we're going in the wrong direction. Is this it? Here's CN2, power, just like what I thought initially. So that's probably a good candidate to redo that connector. That's easy enough. So pop that on there. Now we need to find J16 on the power driver board. Okay, and that's probably going to be this guy. Yeah, it is. So hey, look at that. I learned in the 6 years since I've had this machine, I guessed right where the main power connectors were. Okay, I'm actually going to need 2 hands for this. Okay, both those connectors have been reseated. Let's turn the machine back on. Take off the goggles. And it doesn't really say much after that. It just says reseat those connectors. So it should say then retest your voltage. And if the voltage is crap, you should probably repin those connectors, I'm guessing. So look at that. Exact same voltage. Interesting. That did not seem to do anything. What was it before? 4.87. Did we lose voltage? I think it was 4.87, wasn't it? Okay. Good old backwards progress. Alright, I feel like I probably want to repin these connectors. But before I do that, there are a couple other steps that I read about. So I'm going to travel further down the rabbit hole. I'll be back. Okay, so I went ahead and repinned this one connector just because it was easy enough to do. It's not like 20 wires like this guy here. And doing my voltage check here, so we'll check the driver board at R14, and we got 5.05, same as before. And our 5 volts up here on the CPU. Look at that. We've got improved voltage. I think, well, I don't want to say it and jinx myself, but maybe I've solved the problem. So the next thing I'm going to do, I guess, is leave the machine on and putter away at something else for a bit and just listen to see if I hear the reset bong. So, hopefully we've got the problem solved, but only time will tell. Okay, it's been at least 10 minutes and I have not got a reset yet. So every minute that goes by, the more confident I feel. And the numbers don't lie. I've got better voltage now than I did on my test point here. So I think this is a point where I'm going to take a little food break and then come back down and I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I got to do a little play testing as long as the reset issue does not rear its head again. So I'm going to take a break. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I semi-closed the back box, and I also rigged up something here so that I could, let me get right back in here, so I could get a bit of a pitch to the machine. So the machine is now resting on these milk crates. That way, when I throw some balls in there for some play testing, they aren't going to roll backwards. I'll actually have a little bit of a pitch. So that is what I'm going to do next. I haven't had it reset yet. I don't want to throw this on legs yet, because if it resets once it's on legs, it will be in this position here where I cannot access the guts. So I got to be pretty confident before I put this guy on legs that it is not going to reset on me. So maybe I'll clean the glass and throw in, I believe it was 4 balls. Well, 4 balls were missing, so I don't know how many balls it takes. Maybe it takes 6. There's 1, 2, 3 balls in here. 4 balls in there. Oh, so I wonder if these are new balls from... They do look pretty nice. So I bet you that's what I need. Those 4 balls should be good to go. And they do look to be in good shape, so... I just can't tell if that's wear or that's... maybe that is some weird... No, that's dust. Okay, we're good. Alright, we'll be right back and we'll do a little play test. Alright, there's our official answer. I'm convinced these are new balls. So, let's get a game going here if we can. Okay, this is really bad with the glare. Maybe I will actually remove the glass. Yeah, I'll be back. Okay, that's a little bit better. This is just a quick play test. I just want to see to what degree of functionality we have. And then I can go over every single individual solenoid, bulb, switch, opto, etc. after, but it's just like a rough test. So we have 22 credits from when it was at Jay's, so here we go. Oh yeah, forgot, you get to pick which character you want. We'll go Scully. I'm not sure if that matters anything whatsoever. Press push button to launch ball. Oh, I gotta turn the volume back up. One moment. Yeah, I used to watch the X-Files when it first came out, so I can completely relate to the theme. I haven't seen them in years. I don't know. Obviously, they came out around 97. But yeah, I haven't watched an episode since then, basically, so I forget all the episodes, but totally love the theme. Let's go. Whoa. Okay, definitely could afford to pitch that up a little bit more. And that big creature on the right, big plastic molded guy, he like bobbled around when I launched the ball, so he needs to be tightened up or something. So, as suspected, the opto for the filing cabinet is not working. And again, that might be a blessing. That could have been what preserved this cabinet from getting smashed. I mean, the machine itself is in pretty good shape, minus the cabinet for the wear and the smoke. I know I'm trying to hit something. I'm getting skill searched on. Hey, let's cheat the filing cabinet now. Nope. Are my solenoids not working? Like, I've hit the slingshots a couple times. Oh, there, I actually hit a switch. So either the slingshots are just really poorly adjusted, or they are not working. Now this game is known to have tight shots, so there's going to be a lot of bricking going on. But I still haven't seen a solenoid really work yet. Pop bumpers are back there. Well, I guess the auto launch, not auto launch, but the launch button worked, so there's one solenoid that worked. I'm in the pop bumper zone. Come on, somebody pop. No, I just went right through. And now my ball's stuck. Oh shit, I shouldn't wiggle the machine too much. Oh, there's the ball search works for solenoids, but okay, that's gonna be, I'll just open the coin door there. No more ball search. Okay, that's it for my play testing. It's fairly functional. Now it's time to dig in to all these solenoids, pitch this machine up a little bit higher, and check some switches and stuff. Okay, so before I get into testing, I thought we would take a look at this playfield and parts and see what kind of condition everything is in. These lane plastics and slingshots plastics are in good shape. How about the ramp exits? Okay, that's good. Sega put a metal protector here to prevent the ramp from getting blown out, so that's perfect. Imagine it's the same on the other side, which it is, so that's good news. Ramp exits are a beauty. And the playfield itself, this feels kind of like a giant decal. It is raised a little bit. Slingshot Mylar. I could potentially remove the Mylar, but I'm not so sure I want to or need to. The inserts all feel pretty nice and flush. Oh yeah, I forgot there's this sewer thing that pops up. And kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Okay, what about the ramp entrances? How are they looking? Wow. It's because they're so tight and hard to hit that they're not all smashed out. What about this guy here? That looks good. And this guy. Is that a little crack down there? No, it seems okay. Good job, Sega, with all your metal clippies on both sides. You know, they weren't called clippies back then. They were just Sega ramp protectors. No need for Cliffy to make these because they are factory, apparently. So, ramps are amazing. What about up here? This area here is fine. The ball probably, you know, clunks down in there a bunch, but at a fairly slow pace, so. I think there was originally little black circle decals that would have covered these bolts, but for whatever reason, they're not there anymore. You can see staples where they used to be. Okay, so what other plastics here? You know, this area here is definitely usually blown out, and I am super lucky that on this example it is not. But I am noticing something weird. This post here doesn't appear to be screwed down all the way, and neither does this one here. Here's the set of optos that is not behaving. You can see, oh, and then there's actually two sets. There's one here and one here, and they're either not aligned properly or one of them is bad. But this area is kind of incredible. Like, I think on Henry's he made a whole, I think there's a service bulletin that is a piece of metal, a whole metal plate that you put right over this area to prevent all the wear that it gets. And it even covers this insert. I'll have to look that up. Mine obviously doesn't have that metal plate. Henry, on his X-Files, custom made one of those metal plates and put it in there. And after some time, it got a little bit of denting here and there, and he was tempted to make another one. But you can see this post here is also bent in a little bit. This is your main bash area. So the fact that the plastic's not even broken and there's virtually no wear is really incredible. Like, I think I remember seeing people's filing cabinets like just completely obliterated around here. So the fact that this is original and not obliterated is a bit of a miracle. I think they may still exist, the new filing cabinets, reproduction, made out of a better material. I don't know if they're still available, but I know when they were not cheap. They were maybe $300 or $500 or something. I can't remember for sure, but I'm just going to beat on this cabinet until it breaks. Maybe look up for a reproduction in the meanwhile. Other than that, like, I don't see really anything broken, missing, chips, cracks. Oh yeah, this guy here. Oh, I do remember this. He is a little bit broken in half over here. Now, I don't know if that's fixable, but that'll be why he's wobbling around. So when I launched the ball initially, I heard two solenoids, and I thought that was kind of weird, but then I realized the first solenoid kicks the ball into this hole, and which is like a vertical up kicker, and then that solenoid fires, kicking the ball back out down here, which is kind of weird. It would be, I think it would be cooler if the ball launched all the way around, but it kind of just launches up and then down to feed your flipper. So that's why I heard two solenoids. But when this pops up, buddy jiggles a little bit. But, oh, and here's a diverter too. That's pretty cool. Is plastic in the way of the diverter? We'll have to keep an eye on that. But so from what I'm seeing, playfield wise, no broken switches or missing switches. Plastic wise and ramp wise, everything is pretty friggin' awesome shape. Now this will be a bit of a chore to, we are missing a screw right there. This will be a bit of a chore to completely disassemble and reassemble because we got layers upon layers. But I have done whitewater before, and that has like 7 ramps. So if I can do a whitewater, I'm sure I can do an X-Files. Yeah, do you see any other missing screws or anything? I mean, what is that? I think we're in pretty good shape. Like, the guts do not match the exterior, that's for sure. Let's go for a tour of the exterior now that it's kind of a little more visible. See, this, I remember now, was a decal from the distributor. And you can see the difference in color of what it used to be compared to what it is now. Now this color, if you didn't know any better, you would potentially think that looks cool and is original. Which might actually be better than purple. I don't know where the purple comes from, but that actually looks kind of cooler than the purple does. But yeah, if you didn't know any better, you might not suspect that that used to be purple. And there's no side art on the head because of the showcase action. And this side is actually purple. So this one's in pretty good shape overall. This thing here is pretty chewed up. I don't even know what that is exactly. That's just where the hinge kind of rests into. Maybe it's like a brace so you can't hinge the machine too much so that you don't actually smush the translate into the playfield glass. And then the translate itself is in good shape. I tucked it in over here. Oh, I thought I did. It doesn't want to stay in there, I guess. Oh well, it's not a biggie. I could try and slide the whole thing over if needed. And the display, I believe I changed that out. And it looks to be perfect. Don't see any gassing or lines out or anything. So I got a real nice canvas to work with here. But I think what I'm going to do is see if I can get the optos working, because that is the main feature of the game, and if I want to play it on Saturday, it'd be nice to have that working. I gotta figure out also why and how the hell these posts, is that on purpose? Like, no, I can, look, pull the friggin' post right out. That is gonna need to be addressed. So I'm gonna putter around with that for a bit. I probably should wrap up this video soon. But and as long as I'm down here, I'm gonna record. So I'll putter around with this for a bit and I'll report back. Okay, this is definitely making out to be one of my longer videos, I think, but oh well, it is fun. So we're in switch test, and let's kind of go over. Can you hear the bong every time I hit a switch? Okay. Let's try the ramp switch. This ramp switch. Did I wiggle some? Oh. Launch button. Oh, that's what it is. I thought there was an extra switch going off there. I'm pressing into the launch button when I'm leaning in. Okay, what other switches do we have here? This switch. That's not a switch. This is pop bumper switches. 1, 2, 3, Okay, this switch here. Another switch here. And then I'm just saving the optos for last. Oh, we got rollovers up here. One. Oh, that one's stuck down a bit. Uh-oh. That one is staying stuck down. So I need something. Okay, that is going to go on the list. See that guy? Get up here. Come on now. There. Okay. Sticky E switch. All right, I covered most switches. What about end of stroke switches? No. Anything else? Anything else? There's like a back loop switch. Hey, wait a minute. It looks like a switch may be missing there, actually. I'm gonna have to check on that. Unless that wasn't populated on purpose, but that's what it's supposed to look like. You can see the wire on it. There is no actuator arm in that slot whatsoever, so that might not be good. All right, let's test these optos. Opto set number 1 says magnet opto. Magnet? Is there a magnet under here? And opto number 2. Here we go. There it is. That's our issue. I don't know why yet, but I think we have only one bad switch. Actually, that's not true. One sticky switch there and one possible missing switch there. So you can take mental note of that. And actually, I might take physical note of that so I don't forget. That light used to be on. It might have just died. Okay, so I need to fix the opto. I believe I worked on this before. Maybe that's why this is the way it is. Would I have left it like that? I don't think so. But I feel like I did something to one of these optos when I was at Jay's. Maybe replaced it. Maybe even had it working at one point. Maybe it's an alignment thing. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to investigate. Alright, rigged up some more action here so I could raise up the playfield in between the floor joists. Got it precariously perched upon that wire there. Hopefully that holds up. It should. It's on there pretty good. So I'm just checking out the opto mechs, which are here. This first set of optos is screwed in to this magnet base here with these long screws on either side, making it quite a pain to remove unless you remove the whole magnet, which might be the easier of the options. But this is the set that's not working, these two guys here, which, if you look in the dark, you can see this LED is actually on, and this one is not, which is counterintuitive, or is it? Yeah, this is the back one. But I think if I just remove these 3 screws here, this whole bracket slips out. So I can access that, I think. Other than that light bulb being there, that might get in the way a little bit. That might be the way to go. But while I was here, oh, I did notice we got broken ground strap. So I'll have to remedy that. We actually have a tilt bob, that's good. Hey, let's check that switch. Yep, that's good. And I took a look in the back. I was kind of just hoping to see if I could find a spacer for the display, which I did not. But I did pull up a bunch of crud, and this is what I found. So for whatever reason, a lot of these like wire zip ties to hold the wiring harnesses, a lot of these are, some of them are removed and snipped off for some reason. I don't think I did that. We've got an elastic Don't know what this is, but look what we have. Evidence of a broken playfield glass. So, once upon a time, the playfield glass smashed, and maybe it was out of order for a while due to that, and maybe that's part of the reason why it's in such nice shape overall. I've got some other random hardware too, like where does this E-clip go? And, you know, got too many nuts for my liking that are not attached. We got a screw, another screw that's broken off, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 washers of various different kinds, including, or plus this one. It's a heavier duty lock washer. This little piece is for coin mech, I believe, and then someone at some point had to break in because they lost their key. It could have been me, I'm not sure, but that is a key cam, an old rubber, and I'm not even sure what this is here. It kind of looks like the pad that would be on the back of a switch, but... Oh, another thing I discovered. This slot here. Can you see? It does not have... I know it's hard to see, but there's no screw holes around it. There's no loose switch. There's no switch with the missing actuator. It's just a slot that never got used, so I do not need to worry about that. So that's off the list. I never even made it on the list. And this slot here, I gotta give this guy a little adjustment. That's our E switch. But yeah, I think I'm going to remove this bracket and see if I can figure out what is going on with it. Okay, so here's what I've learned. This is the transmitter LED, which I suspected because it is lit up and transmitting light over to the receiver LED. This is a diagnostic LED that is supposed to illuminate once it detects that the switch is closed. It is stuck on. Now, take a look at this LED right here. When I close the switch, I'm going to stick my finger through the beam top side here. See, it lights up. Oh, I got my flash on. I thought I turned that off. Here we go. There we go. So, the fact that that light is on non-stop leads me to believe that it thinks that the switch is closed. Now I've tried to like bend these two arms and change the alignment, but for whatever reason this switch is stuck closed. That's what the CPU believes anyway, so I need to figure out why. But that is going to be for another day, because it is time for me to wrap up. Oh, look at this. Another thing on the list here. Broken wire harness bracket. That, not a big deal. But tomorrow, before Pinball League, I will spend some time on this and see, do a little research, see what I can figure out. But hey, for episode 1, day 1 of X-Files, I think I managed to do pretty well. It has not reset again. Now, you know, maybe in switch tests there's less voltage required, but it's been on for like a good 40 minutes or so, and I think that problem is solved. So that's a good start. I think we put a pretty good dent into this guy thus far. So there is hope that on Saturday, which is a couple days from now, that this might be on legs and playable to some degree. So X-Files series will continue. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.